Are you looking for the best budget graphics cards? In this video we will look at some of the best budget graphics cards. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. EVGA RTX 2060 Gaming. If you're looking for the best budget graphics card under $200, then this RTX 2060 from EVGA is what you're looking for. However, considering that other RTX 2060s are currently being sold for close to $300, it's unclear whether or not EVGA will continue to sell their RTX 2060 for such a low price. And, considering that they stopped making graphics cards due to their frustration of working with NVIDIA, it's likely that they're just clearing out their GPU stock. In any case, you won't find a better priced graphics card under $200 right now. So, if you're looking for a deal, you'll want to grab one of these powerful GPUs before they go out of stock. This EVGA RTX 2060 comes with a 1710 MHz boost clock. It is the lesser 6GB VRAM version of the RTX 2060, though. And, while the 12GB RTX 2060 will give a bit more oomph in games, the 6GB version still benchmarks well enough. This GPU requires a minimum of a 500-watt power supply and it measures in at just under 7.5 inches. Those two factors combined help make it an exceptional option for small form factor builds. For performance, you can expect this GPU to max out any game on a 1080p monitor and will work well for 1440p gaming, too. And, it should achieve a high enough average frame rate in most games to where you'd benefit by pairing it with a 144Hz monitor that has G-Sync technology. Number 2. ZOTAC GeForce GTX 1660. Our runner-up pick for the best budget graphics card under $200 is this GTX 1660 from ZOTAC. And, considering that our top pick, the EVGA RTX 2060, is likely to go out of stock soon, this might be your best option overall. The one downside of this card, though, is that it comes in at a little over $200. However, considering that the rest of the GPU options under $200 aren't great options, if the RTX 2060 from EVGA is no longer available at its $200 price tag, you will definitely want to consider ponying up the extra cash necessary to get the extra performance that the GTX 1660 will provide over the rest of the budget GPU field. This GTX 1660 comes with a 1530 MHz core clock and a 1785 MHz boost clock. It sports 6GB of GDDR6 VRAM and requires a minimum of a 450-watt power supply. It also measures in at just under 8.5 inches, making it a great option for smaller builds. Ultimately, the GTX 1660 is likely the best $200 GPU option going forward. However, since EVGA seems to be clearing their GPU stock, their RTX 2060 is currently the better option. Number 3. PowerColor RX 6500 XT. If you don't quite have $200 to spend, your next best bet is probably this Radeon RX 6500 XT from XFX. The RX 6500 XT isn't the GPU in the world and it even loses in benchmarks to older generation cards, like the RX 5500 XT. That's mainly due to the fact that it comes with a lower VRAM capacity, only 4GB of GDDR6 VRAM. However, the RX 5500 XT is difficult to find and the RX 6500 XT is readily available. So, while 4GB of VRAM may not be ideal, at this price point, it's still the best offering. Furthermore, the RX 6500 XT is still powerful enough to allow you to play any games on a 1080p display, ideally, with AMD's FreeSync technology, on at least medium settings. And, for non-demanding esports titles like Rocket League of Legends, or games like Minecraft, it is more than powerful enough to get the job done. So, if you're looking for a more budget-friendly GPU option, the RX 6500 XT is a decent option worth considering. Memory speed, 6.0 Gbps. Video memory, 2GB GDDR5. Stream processor, 512. Boost clock, up to 1071 MHz, avoid using unofficial software. Memory clock, 6 gigabits per second. Number 4. PowerColor Radeon RX 550. If you don't have more than $100 to spend on a graphics card, you have a few options. As of right now, the best sub-$100 GPU is an RX 550. And, as of the time of updating this guide, the top sub-$100 RX 550 currently available is this low-profile option from XFX. This card comes with a 1071 MHz base clock rate, 2 GB of VRAM, and a single fan cooling configuration. Due to the single fan configuration and low-profile design, this RX 550 measures in at just 6.0 inches long. So, it's a great option for a budget-friendly mini gaming PC build. For performance, you can expect to run most games on a 1080p monitor on at least lower settings. For non-demanding games like League of Legends, this card will work just fine, and for more demanding games, you can play on lower settings until you have enough money to upgrade to something more powerful. Real boost clock, 1755 MHz, memory detail, 4096 MB GDDR6. All new NVIDIA Turing architecture to give you incredible new levels of gaming realism, speed, power efficiency, and immersion. Dual fans offer higher performance cooling and low acoustic noise. Number 5. EVGA GeForce GTX 1650 Super. While it might seem that I have something against NVIDIA cards based on this article, the reality is that, at the current price points, AMD cards seem to make more sense in the sub-$200 price range. The GTX 1650 Super does provide a slight performance boost over the RX 6500 XT in most games, however it also comes in at, or just above, $200. And, at that point, the GTX 1660 Super listed above would be a better option. However, if you're able to find a GTX 1650 Super for the same price, or cheaper, than the RX 6500 XT, then you'd probably be better off choosing it instead. And, if they do, this EVGA card would be one of the better options. It comes with a 1755 MHz base clock, 4 GB of VRAM, and a dual fan configuration. It also measures in at 8.0 inches long. Overall, though, you can either spend a little more to get a better performing card, the GTX 1660 Super, or you can spend less and get virtually the same performance, RX 6500 XT. So, for now, the GTX 1650 Super is an honorable mention. NVIDIA Turing architecture, with 1485 MHz core clock and 1725 MHz boost clock speeds to help meet the needs of demanding games. 4 GB GDDR5, 128-bit onboard memory, plus 896 CUDA processing cores and up to 128 GB per second of memory bandwidth provide the memory needed to create striking visual realism. PCI Express 3.0 interface offers compatibility with a range of systems. Also includes DVI-D and HDMI outputs for expanded connectivity.